us a little about yourself and the Unlike Festival?
Yeah, well, first I'd like to say thanks for having me and happy birthday to Youth Flex for 13 years. That's pretty awesome that you guys have been running this, student-run show for that whole time. And we are actually celebrating our birthday as well this month. It's 30 years of the United World Colleges National Committee being in the Cayman Islands. And this festival that we're doing this weekend, Unlike Cayman, is part of our celebrations.
So can you tell us what is the Unlike Festival and why have one here in Cayman?
Well, the Unlike Festival is actually, it's a touring movement that was founded in Finland. And the person that founded it, his name is Yane, and he went to school in Costa Rica with a Caymanian UWC scholar named Gabby Hernandez. And he, after UWC, wanted to keep this kind of idea going of bringing people together and using art to do that. So he founded this traveling festival, and it's film, it's art, it's music, it's culture, and it's featured in Indonesia and Finland and in Norway. And he said, what do you think about bringing it to the Cayman Islands? And we said, absolutely, this sounds awesome, because the UWC movement, we've been around here in Cayman for 30 years, but a lot of people still haven't heard of us because we're quite small. We're only able to select about 2 students each year to go off to one of the UWC colleges, which are all over the world. There's 14 around the world. And we want to share our mission and our values and everything that we're celebrating with the rest of the Cayman community. And we thought that this festival was a really great way to do that.
So what can we expect from this festival?
Well, pretty much all things Cayman art and culture. We're going to actually have pretty much the run of Cayman Bay on Saturday. Dart Enterprises is our platinum sponsor. And we're going to have 31 exhibition booths running all the way from the Crescent down to Books and Books. We're going to have 2 stages for live musicians. One's going to be in Cassia Court and the other one right on the Paseo in front of Books and Books. And we're also going to have short films in the cinema all day from 11 to 4:30. And the best part is everything is free. Yeah,
is there food?
Yeah, and maybe food not as much, but but we've got so much going on, and the way that we're able to do this is we have so many sponsors that have come on board so that we can put on this professional, amazing festival and get so many people involved and still, end up making money for UWC Cayman Islands as well, because this is a fundraiser for us. So it's going to be pretty amazing, and if everyone can just come, go, stay as long as you like. We're on Facebook, Unlike Cayman, and people can see the schedules up there now about when people are going to be performing, who's going to be there. Come out whenever you're able to, stay a while, enjoy what's going on. We're really encouraging everyone to come out on Saturday to Cayman Bay for the Unlike Festival.
So how can students and people in general get involved?
Well, we've been reaching out through the art departments and the other kind of artsy areas of the schools over the last few weeks, months actually. It's been a long time coming that we've been planning this festival, and we have a lot of young people that are going to be featured as well. We have a couple of the Catholic school students who are doing art, O-level and A-level, who are going to have a booth exhibiting their art and also selling it. And we've got other young artists that are involved. The films that we've had 15 local films that were submitted to this festival, which is pretty awesome. And the youngest person is actually 13 years old, who submitted a film that she directed. And we've got another one, and that's Zoe Connolly Bazdeo, and it's a public service announcement. So, it's 2 minutes long, but it's an awesome film that she put together and decided that she wanted to put something across using an artistic media like this. We've also got a horror film from Matthew Marley. He is also another young Caymanian who's just gone off to university, but he's screening his film at the festival. A lot of other young people as well. So, we've got people on both sides, hopefully, that are young, the ones that are participating, and then also the ones that are going to be attending and enjoying everything as guests. But there's also going to be a panel discussion at 5 o'clock at the cinema after the films end for people who might be interested in going into filmmaking, either as a career or as a hobby, to learn from local directors who have been in this business and to try to, get some advice and find out how you can maybe make this a career or just to continue to pursue it, as an amateur. So we've got a lot of options for education as well throughout the day. So it's not just coming out and having a great time, although, it's definitely going to be a great time. But we also want people to learn as well. All of the artists that are going to be there, all the musicians, are definitely going to be willing to share, how they got into this kind of profession or this hobby and how other people can do it as well. So we think that the young people will really want to come out and speak to those established artists and also the up-and-coming people about their experiences.
So our word of the week is solvent. By what means does the WC Cayman Charter remain solvent?
Actually, it's a really interesting question, and it's well timed because, like I said, unlike Cayman is a fundraiser, and UWC Cayman Islands, what we do, our main function is to select young Caymanians, 15, 16 years old, to go off to UWC colleges, and we provide scholarships to those students to make sure that inability to pay is not a barrier. So the concept of being solvent is something that's really important in education, because sometimes if you don't have money, you can't get a good education. And that's really unfortunate. So scholarship programs like ours allow any student who's selected who is the best person, that's going to really get the most out of it, that's really going to give the most passionate about the UWC mission and values, to make sure that that person is solvent through scholarships. And the way that we remain solvent is through fundraising. So it all kind of comes full circle that, financial support is something that's really necessary for people in education.
So do you have any advice for young people that are interested in directing and filmmaking and stuff like that?
Well, I would say that on Saturday, come out at 5 o'clock for sure for the film panel. We're going to have Frankie Flowers is going to be there. He won't be on the panel, but he's going to be available and kind of might share some of his things. And then he's also premiering his most recent movie, Metro Manila, right afterward. But we're going to have Sean Rankin, who's a producer of VH1, a couple of local directors like Badir Awe, Trevor Murphy is going to be out there as well. They did The Devil You Know together. So these people are going to be there as resources. So I would say that the young people just need to, reach out and make some connections and ask questions. Never be afraid to ask questions if you want to get into something, and ask someone who's already there how they got there.
You mentioned you mentioned earlier that it's a fundraiser. Is there a target that you plan to reach?
Yeah, we're hoping to reach about $20,000 through this fundraiser. Yeah, because we've got the corporate sponsors on board, and then we also have a couple of ticketed events on Friday. We're going to have a little cocktail party to kick off the weekend, and we're going to have a brunch on Sunday. And we're also selling t-shirts and doing some other smaller things like that. So even though we're putting on this huge festival and making it free, we are hoping to make about $20,000 as well, because that'll cover 1 year of scholarship for one Caymanian student.
How long will this event be?
It's through the whole weekend, but the main event is going to be on Saturday. So we just have a cocktail party on Friday at the National Gallery from 7 to 11. We're going to have live music. We're going to show a little trailer from the first documentary that was made about the United World Colleges movement that was made in Costa Rica and then some of the other colleges in Wales, the US, India. And then on Saturday, we're going all day, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then Sunday, a nice relaxed brunch to close it all off at Royal Palms.
Right. So do you guys have any future plans, like future events?
Well, the Unlike Festival is a touring movement, so it's something that visits different cities every year. So we're not going to do Unlike again, but UWC definitely aims to do events every year, not just for fundraising, but also for promoting, our values and what we do, and also to try to bring people together. Because one of the things about Unlike, some people are asking, what is this name all about? I don't understand it. Is this like you don't like Cayman? And it's more, that this festival is unlike anything else because it's really different. But it's also, in the social media world, everyone kind of sits behind their computers and likes things on Facebook and doesn't really interact with anyone anymore. So we really want to bring people out in person together to learn and to share and to experience things and to have fun and maybe think about things a little bit differently than you did before. So it's about unliking. What does it mean to unlike? We want to kind of explore that.
What does it
this
mean?
Yeah. And I don't have an answer to that. I think we're all going to kind of think about it
Facebook
together.
click
Yeah, exactly.
So how does UWC benefit young people? What's something that you would say to encourage someone to want to join UWC?
Well, UWC has been around for just over 50 years, and we've been in Cayman for 30 years. And what the mission is of these colleges is to bring young people together and to use education as a force to unite people for peace and a sustainable future. Because it started, in the 1950s with the Cold War, in the 1960s with the Cold War, where there were a lot of people in Europe who hated each other just based on where they were born, or what religion they were, or what color their skin was. And so a German man named Kurt Hahn had this idea, well, what about bringing young people together? They won't have these kind of prejudices, and maybe they'll learn that they have a lot more in common than they have separating them. And I think in Cayman we have such great diversity in our people as well, nationality-wise, religion, all of these different things. So I think we're pretty blessed to already experience that kind of diversity. But UWC just brings it on a whole nother level. And the students that we send away, I myself, I'm an alumna of the UWC movement. I was selected in 2002, which probably makes me seem ancient to you guys. But, and I went off and, you know, I had a great life in Cayman, but going away really just kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things, and it gave me a lot of opportunities and experiences that I don't think I ever would have had if I hadn't gone to UWC. The people that I met, the things that I learned. I also, you know, UWC also helps people get into really great universities as well, because it's a really strong academic program that encourages you to be well-rounded. It has community service requirements and arts and physical activities and those kinds of things. So it's a great stepping stone into university as well. But the main point is that the students that we send away, we're not just sending them away for those 2 years to then finish. We're sending them away to learn how to be a lifelong agent of change and how to be someone that cares about their community and wants to give back and does that in any way that they can. So that's what we're really trying to do.
So how does a student become involved in the admissions process?
Well, what we do is every year we go out into the secondary schools. We normally speak to, you know, the year 11s, the 15-year-olds, anyone who's in that equivalent grade group who would be eligible to apply. And we tell them a little bit about UWC, the admissions procedure, and then we encourage applications. So we've got some great contacts in the secondary schools, but we also do some general promotion, and word of mouth is something that's really good for this kind of program as well. And then we have a written application, and then from there we narrow the students down to go into an individual interview. And then we also have a group stage at the end of that where we kind of see how the students interact. So it's quite a rigorous process. But because we only generally have 2, maybe 3 spots every year for Caymanian students, because students are getting selected from 170 different countries around the world each year for these scholarships in the 14 different colleges. So we only have 2 or 3 spaces, so we go through quite a rigorous process to decide who we're going to be selecting each year.
So you said you guys change location every year?
Well, this is the first time we've done anything unlike Cayman.
Okay.
And, you know, going forward, we've done a lot of stuff in the past, things like, you know, beach cleanups. We've worked with other organizations to do a musicians showcase, and we've done games nights and things like that. But now that we're starting to get more alumni that are moving back home and we're starting to gain a bigger profile, we're wanting to get bigger and do more things to really reach out and benefit the community as well, so that we can give back. So we're not really sure what next year is going to hold for us, but I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm actually the chairperson of the national committee here, and there's a lot of us that are involved on the executive board, and then also within just our alumni national committee who remain linked to the movement. And we're really excited to keep, you know, sharing with people what we learned when we went away to UWC and how that's changed us, and hopefully to promote these kinds of ideas about peace and, you know, learning to celebrate diversity and not having differences separate us.
So what would you say was what you most appreciated from the UWC program?
I think at UWC I really kind of found myself and realized that I could do whatever I wanted to do. Because when I was growing up in Cayman, basically it was you were supposed to be a lawyer or go work at a bank or be a doctor. There weren't really other options that you thought you could do. And I think that that's changed a lot since I was a kid. But when I went to UWC, I realized there are a lot of different ways to contribute to the world, and that every career is valuable. And I also realized when I got to UWC how lucky we are in Cayman to have such a stable government and great support systems and a peaceful nation. You know, I had a lot of friends who were coming from countries where wars were going on while we were there. The U.S. started bombing Iraq when I was in UWC, so I realized how fortunate we were here and how a big part of that was having a good government and having peace and stability. So I wanted to go into working for the government and doing policy to try to continue that, because I realized that government really can make a big positive difference in people's lives. So that was kind of what I really took away, was a very personal change in my career path.
How would you describe your experience with the UWC?
It was definitely the kind of most formative thing for me. I think at age 16, 17, that's always going to be a really both difficult and exciting time no matter where you are. But when you experience those years in a place like UWC, it's a small college. It's about 200 students in each college. And it's a 2-year program, so it's only 100 people in each class. And there's about 80 different countries that are represented within that group. And so there's just so much diversity in that experience. And what I also learned, which I think is the point of UWC, is I put a face to these countries. So, you know, there was the tsunami in Japan recently. I immediately was thinking of my Japanese friends Yukio and Nao. It was no longer just Japanese people over there across the water.
Yeah.
It also built this empathy and this understanding of other people who I didn't have a connection with before. And I think that that's a really important first step to peace, is understanding that we're all human beings and we all have value and we all have something to contribute and we all should really work together.
Sure.
It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for having me, and happy birthday
I'll definitely
again.
be out there. I don't know about you guys.
We're really hoping a lot of people come out. It's Saturday, the 27th of September, so this Saturday at Cayman Bay, the Unlike Festival, art, music, film, culture, all things Cayman and Caymanian. We really hope to see you guys out there.
And it's all free.
And it is all free, exactly.
Free.
Thank you. That is an excellent point to make. All free at Cayman Bay on Saturday.
Well, thank you for being on the show with us.
Thank you so much for
Thanks,
having
Sharon.
me.
We're going to take our next music break with Masha Montano, The Fog.